Welcome everyone to an awesome showdown between Elyak East as the Ogre Kingdoms going up against Mukluk as the forces of Kislev. So for the Kislevites in the front, 5 units of the Kossars starting with the spear variety in the front, the regular Kossars on the flank, and then 1 unit of the great weapons here in the back for that bucket load of armor piercing. For the centerpiece we are going to have Little Grom, a brilliant artillery piece here, 378 armor piercing missile strength with 450 range. This bad boy can fight in combat but probably not best. He does have 105 armor, which should make him pretty tanky indeed. In the back, bears for the bear god here. We are going to have the War Bear Riders backed up by the triple light war sleds. And in the middle for the triple heroes, we are going to have the Patriarch with the Brazier, as well as the Ararai, which is going to get the melee defense and melee attack, and then the Lullaby for the healing. For the magic, we are going to have the Frost Maiden of Tempest. She's going to be here on horseback with just the spell of the Horsk of Miska. For the Lord Choice, we are going to have Constantine, the man, the myth, the legend, the tanky boy himself with his banner. He has the Blaze of Devotion, as well as the Urson's Ward. For the abilities, we are going to get the Battle Hymn, Lullaby, and then the Song of the Winter Sunlight. So a good bear force here coming from Kislev, as we would expect. But here for the Ogre Kingdoms, we are going to be having Gorges backed up here on the ridge with the Morfang Cavalry. Fantastic mass here, 3,500 mass per model, 120 armor piercing as well. They thump very hard in melee combat on that charge. 4 units of the cheap Noblars in the front, backed up by the double Ogre Balls, one here being the Iron Fist. Made that 2 Iron Fists for the added shields for missile resistance. We are going to have Ogre Ball dual weapons in the back, backed up by the centerpiece of the Iron Blaster. Now this bad boy needs no introduction. He is a fantastic single entity. We are going to be having 1.1k missile strength, armor sundering, armor piercing, and good mobility with 66 speed. We are going to have Scrag the Slaughterer, backed up by more Ogre Balls and an extra unit of the Sabertusk packs. So Scrag here with his big Cauldron. I love the Noblars on the Cauldron. We are going to have the Cauldron of the Great Maw, Bloodgruel here as the Law passive, the spells of Troll Guts, Toothcracker, and the Ball Gorger. So over here on the left, the same as the right, we are going to have an extra unit of the Morfang and then Gorges. So we are going to get some good bonuses and healing for the Gorges if we get them close enough here to Scrag the Slaughterer. So it's probably going to be a bit of an artillery fight here in the beginning. Looks like we are going to be shooting the Iron Blaster. It is going to go down up against the Little Grom. I don't know where Little Grom is going to be shooting. Looks like Little Grom is perhaps going to be shooting here up against the Iron Blaster. It looks like, unfortunately, Little Grom is going to be losing. Maybe it's just a bit of the positioning, but I know he normally does quite well here up against the Iron Blaster. But yeah, it's not going to be going the way here of Kislev. This is really unfortunate and could really be game deciding. So we're going to be charging in the front here with the Noblars. Noblars going to push forward. They're going to take quite a bit of brunt here from the Kossars. They're going to get backed up quite nicely by the Iron Fist. You probably want these charging a little bit in the front. And here we go. We're into combat. Bellies first as we get in with a good old belly slam. Now we're going to be thumping those clubs through the front line here of the Kossar Spears. Now they were braced. They do have bonuses large in melee combat. And the Noblars, they're going to dissipate a lot of the damage that can come on top of the Ogre Balls. Flank charge coming in the side here from the mass Morfang Cavalry, and they're going to be thumping quite hard. We do have the box of bears for the bear god as they fight here. You can see quite a few negatives. Ball Gorger has been activated for that plus melee attack and armor piercing as we thump alongside here with the cavalry. So Gorges are going to be getting buffed to their weapon strength, 110 weapon strength there with armor piercing and anti-infantry. And it looks like we are going to maybe get a Hawks of Miska in the middle. I believe we are. Fantastic stuff. We are going to get the good spell here, the Tempest, coming and ripping through these Noblars, also causing Discourage, which is really good up against these cheap Noblars. So Scrag is going to be throwing around his Cauldron here in the middle up against the Kossar Spears, and the great weapons are going to be falling to the mass Gorges. For the most part, By Our Blood has been activated by 1, 2, 3 units in the front line, and a couple are going to be shattering. So a nice spell there. The Hawk of Miska has pushed off the double Noblars. The Discourage is very useful indeed, and that's going to make considerably weaker for the Ogre Balls. They're going to be getting hit a lot more here by the range and the mass infantry. So you can see Bearstead's still going to be sliding through. Unfortunately, going to really struggle to pull through most of the infantry. Unfortunately, the Ogre Balls going to have a little bit too much mass, and you can see the light war sleds are taking quite a bit of damage. There's not quite enough open room here to be kiting too well with the light war sleds. Morfang Cavalry going to be moving out. Same here for the Ogre Balls. They're going to be just, you know, kind of completing their mission by shattering and eating as many of the Kossars as possible. In the middle, we are going to be rampaging with the Saber-Tusk packs. They actually have been frostbitten, so they're going to be negative 30 on the speed, but they're going to be mean, and they don't really care. They're going to be snacking on all of these polar bears where at all possible. They're going to be fighting quite nicely. We do actually have the Song of the Winter Sunlight, giving us negative 100% vigor, so we're going to be going back up to fresh, making sure we're fighting at 100%. In the middle, the Ogre Balls do actually get the Tooth Cracker, giving them armor and missile resistance, which is really good up against the light war sleds. So it gives them just some really good added protection on top of that already bronze shield. So quite nicely here, although the damage is not going to be too much from this Vortex, it's going to be negative 16 leadership, which is going to really help break some of these low leadership units. Which looks like it's going to be a rear charge, a mass surround here by the forces. Light war sleds are going to be getting caught. It's mostly going to be the Polar Bears, the Frost Maiden, and Kostalton in the middle. He's going to be fighting quite strong. This man is incredibly tanky. So we are going to get the Lullaby. That's going to be a 35-meter radius of healing, 0.8 per second, which is basically Earthblood, if you like. It's going to be about the same healing as Earthblood. So it should be some keeping tip-top shape here for the Light War sleds. Ogre Balls in the middle, they're going to be going quite hard here. They're going to be thumping right into the flanks of these sleds, and the Polar Bears taking quite a bit of recoil damage, really preventing them from getting some good melee attacks in there. They are anti-large. I love it when the Polar Bears go on their hind legs and just start wrapping their claws and getting those tusks that have been built into the front and the armor straight through the Ogre Balls. But as we can see here, for the most part, balance of power is going to be even. Bioblood, I believe, has been activated for the Polar Bears here in the middle. Now you can see that healing cap is coming through. You can see those little orange lines starting to present here for the forces of Kislev. And where are we shooting? We're going to be shooting at the top of the hill here for the Iron Blaster. Going to be shooting down the flanks, and it looks like another Horde of Miska is going to be happening in the middle. So more negative 16 leadership is going to be very handy here for removing all these beaten up Ogre Balls. Now they will be getting some good healing from the Law passive here from Scrag, but is it going to be enough? The Morphine Cavalry has been pulled out. It's going to be waiting here in the back. Another charge coming forward for the Ogre Balls. 44 charge bonus for infantry. Going to be wrapping their clubs round the backside here of the sleds and doing some fantastic damage. Look at this, the Polar Bear going up against the Ogre Ball. I absolutely love it. Look at these bad boys. Clubs, claws, tusks, you name it, they're in here. Halberds and this fantastic head design. I love the Polar Bears. I really want to see them fight here up against the Morphine Cavalry. I think that'd be excellent for sure. In the middle of the Frost Maiden, she is going to be using her by her blood, so that'll be gone there for the remainder of the battle. Dismember has been activated. That's going to be giving that negative 60% speed. Cycle charging very nicely here with the Morphine Cavalry. Good work here from Elyak East, getting in and doing the good damage, but the Blob here really has done well. The healing is going to be going quite strong. That plus 40 melee attack as well has really given the bonuses that are needed to challenge up against the mass DPS of the Ogre Kingdoms. Charging forward, the Noblars, Ogre Balls, they're going to be kind of reuniting forces here. Charging back in with Scrag the Slaughterer. Could maybe get a bit of healing here, bit of Troll Guts perhaps. Could bring it back to the battle. But spreading out is going to give Kislev, with their mobility, the ability to challenge what they want where they like. So they're going to be fighting here up against just a isolated unit of the Gorges and the Ogre Balls. But more here and now going to be joining the battle, getting another surround. Kostalton's going to be pretty healthy. He's going to be at full health, still getting that good old regen. The Patriarch and the Frost Maiden still going pretty strong, but we are going to be starting to lose the light war sleds. One has broken here. We could probably push that off with the cavalry. Another Hawk of Miska, given that negative 16 leadership. It's proven very healthy indeed. It's proven to be very, very beneficial. You can see broken units here of Noblars. They've really struggled to get in the middle and support up against the Ogre Balls, and they've taken quite a bit of damage. This is some really good, smart gameplay coming from Mukluk. So in the middle, we do still have Discourage here on Scrag. He is going to be using Troll Guts. Incredible amount of healing here. It's going to be 0.8% for 40 seconds. That's an incredible amount of healing. I believe Earthblood is 0.8% for about 7 seconds, if you want to compare. So charging downtown here, we are going to be getting the Light War sleds. One gets taken down here by a fat shot here from the artillery piece, and the Light War sleds charge in, guns firing up against the Ogre Balls. The Iron Fist is going to hold those arm shields up nice and high as they butter the bread here of these Light War sleds. Cavalry charging up the hill. Morfang are going to be chasing here up against the Warbear Riders, and there's really not much left here from either side. Now we do see the Patriarch and Kostalton fighting back to back. The Frost Maiden is going to be in. She's going to be struggling on horseback. She's not going to be anywhere near as tanky and won't be quite putting out the same DPS. But fire damage is being applied, so all of the law passives as well as Troll Guts also going to be getting some good negatives due to the fire damage of Kostalton. Now we do have the Battle Hymn given that plus 40 melee attack. Do we have any abilities here come from Scrag? It doesn't seem so. A couple of Ogre Balls are going to be resting in the back. They are exhausted. I'm sure here they might have a couple of snacks in the back pocket. A couple of these Kushevite Dervishers or maybe some Kossars here in the back pocket ready to nibble on so they get back into the action. We have Scrag here charging, and he has some pretty good armor piercing. 320 weapon strength here with armor piercing that can be applied. It looks like we do break the Frost Maiden. She's going to be getting out of there really low on HP. She's down to 440. In the middle, though, the Patriarch still going okay. 1.4k healing cap is certainly present. And there we go. We do proc the By Our Blood, giving us Unbreakable for 30 seconds. But Cole Stoughton, he's going to be fighting super strong here. Don't know what sort of healing we've got left for him. Let's have a look. Can we find out here? It looks like I don't know how to find that out, but he's going to be, I'm sure, pretty close to his healing cap. In the middle of the Patriarch, he's going to be falling. Balance of power has always been pretty even, if not slightly, in the Ogre Kingdom favour. But I think with enough damage here from all sides, Constantine will fall. If we can get Scrag in there to fight, yeah, oh no, he does fall. That's a big shame. The hero does fall here. The cannon is going to be moving into melee combat. The Iron Blaster wants a piece of Constantine here and Kislev. Cycle charging. Max efficiency here coming from the Iron Blaster. It's actually up to triple bronze chevron, looking pretty tasty indeed. But you can see here, Kostalson, yeah, he's going to be struggling quite a bit in the middle. Cycle charging here, By Our Blood activated for the first time for Kostalson. Fighting quite strongly, but I think once By Our Blood has gone, that is going to be army losses. GG's and well played here. This was actually a short beard match, which is, you know, I really do like to show these games, and it was part of the league. And what a fantastic game here between both of these absolute legends. But we can see Scrag the Sorcerer, 1.4k for him, with 3,800 damage value for the Iron Blaster. Dear God, that thing is absolutely revolting. 1,200, 580 there for the Morphan Cavalry, with 1,000 and 2,000 there for the Gorges. 611, 830 there for the Iron Fists, with 1.2k for the dual weapons. The regular Ogre Balls in at 370, 740, and 1,250. So really good performance there. That's going to be 2.5 times its value. Very, very strong. 165, 180, 280, and 95 there for the Noblars, with 640 for the Saber-Tusk packs. So here for Kostalton and Mukluk, we are going to be having 1,500 for Kostalton, 1,000 here for the Frost Maiden. Really like the Hawks of Miska. That's going to be given that -16 leadership there every time we cast. So of course, we were blobbing around the big group and just giving that negative to leadership. It was really, really nice to see that combination. 714 for the Patriarch, 2,900 for the Warbear Riders. God damn, some brilliant value. 840, 730, and 401 there for the Light War Sleds, with 605 for Little Grom. Sadly, he fell apart really quickly. I think, you know, 1.4k of that was from the Iron Blaster coming up against Little Grom, which was unfortunately a little bit sad. But 43 there for the Armoured Corsairs, 190, 180, 130, and 488 for the Corsairs. So, GG's and well played. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. If you did, please smash that like button. It really helps on the channel. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Of course, please be respectful with all your comments. But I do love to read them all and try and respond where I can. And if you haven't already, do feel free to subscribe. That really does help on the growth of the channel. And then check out the description for all my other social media platforms, including Twitch and then also that Discord. I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.